How did you confess to your crush? We were good friends at the time. Asked if she wanted to get coffee one day. Had a great conversation about life, future plans, and whatnot. After we finished, I was driving her back to her house and decided to man up and spill it all. Told her I had strong feelings for her and had for a while. And that if she didn't feel the same way, I would understand and would want to maintain our friendship and it not be awkward. Turned out she felt the same way, and bam, going on 3 years. Don't do that, don't give me hope. I did something similar with mine. We frequently went to the gym together, and one day after dropping her off I told her I had been developing feelings for her and I asked her if she was interested in pursuing something more. Unfortunately, I didn't get the vibe that she was interested in me in that way, and she wasn't, and I mainly told her my feelings hoping that a rejection would help me move on. It didn't. Things were going okay for another month or so, but then I finally had to end our friendship because my feelings weren't going away and they were starting to negatively affect me. I was losing sleep and starting to get jealous. I did it right outside of class. After 30 seconds of uncomfortable silence, I walked away. Turns out he was into me, too. Just shocked. So now we're married. This is so wholesome and exactly what I didn't know I needed to hear right now. I can't. They're in a relationship right now. F. After holding in many crushes over several years, I found it hurt less to be rejected than to never know how someone felt. TBH, just tell them how you feel. If they don't feel the same, or aren't sure, move on. Having feelings for someone is a normal human emotion. Anyone giving you a hard time about it honestly can't come to grips with their own ability to tell someone how they feel. She wanted to ask me something, but she was extremely shy about it and ended up no saying anything. I thought she was trying to tell me she liked me, so I told her I had a crush on her. The next day she asked me on a date. We've been a couple for almost 3 years now. P.S. She was trying to ask me to have sex with her, as she had a huge crush on me. You lucky man you. Asked her to go to a movie with me, she said sure. Told her that someone kept staring at me and I found it creepy. That person was her mom. Does nobody trust a high school kid anymore? That's creepy indeed. 12 years old, in love with a 14-year-old dude. I sewed a tiny heart-shaped pillow with his initial on it, then put it on his place while he was in another class, for him to find it. Yeah, well, he found me in recess and ripped the heart into pieces in front of his asshole friends and my friends, and insulted me. And I thought, that didn't go very well. Edit, yeah, I never ever confessed to anybody again. My dude, 14-year-old boys, or well, teenage boys, are all sort of assholes. Well, most of them. Just because this one was a rude cunt doesn't mean everyone else is too. I guess technically neither of us really confessed, but we both kinda knew we liked each other, and one day I stepped up and asked for her number. It blossomed from there and it was really good. We cuddled a lot and had tons of fun, but about a week ago I moved to Pittsburgh and all we can really do is text. Hold on, good sire, madam. Texting every day can go a long way. And a phone call too. And maybe vid calls. She kept complaining about how she had no one to go to a dance with, so I summoned all of my confidence and asked her to be my date to said dance. She said no, and that she only liked me as a friend. She then continued to complain about how she had no one to go with, so I said, okay, let's go as friends and nothing else. She said no and found some other guy to go with. She then went on to tell me that I wouldn't have liked to go to said dance. Little does she know, I'm a pretty good dancer and know my way around many styles like salsa, bachata, merengue and some tango. Oh well. Edit, this is a major detail that I forgot to add. The reason why she said no at first is because she was healing from another relationship, yet proceeded to go with some other guy, and well, those two enjoyed their company far past the dance. Her loss. That's just rude. Through text. I tried to get him alone, but we kept getting interrupted by mutual friends. Happened several times. He was going away for military training and I didn't want to lose my chance. Finally, on his birthday, I asked him out through text. I essentially said, hey, I have a crush on you. I was wondering if you saw me in that way, and if you do, then how about I take you out for your birthday sometime next week and I'll plan a date. It took him 4 minutes to respond, and my God, my heart had never beat so loud just looking at a screen. He replied with a smiley face. Smiley face. So, did you get to take him out for his birthday? Smiley face. It was the scariest but also the most rewarding thing that I have ever done. I lived in a co-ed college dorm with her and about 30 other people. We were all pretty close. One night when everyone went out, it was just us left in the common room. We got talking and the subject soon turned to who we have a crush on. I was thinking it's now or never, chief, shoot your shot, and at least if it's not reciprocated you will know and can move knowing you tried. So I plucked up all the courage I could find and told her I liked her. She said that she felt the same way and the reason I didn't go out that night was the reason she stayed in. My mind couldn't believe a solid 10 out of 10 like skinny me. Anyway, we dated for almost a year before she transferred to another college to do nursing instead. We are still friends almost 10 years later. I am actually going to her wedding this August. I don't know how this happened. I was attracted to this girl, who I thought would barely notice me. I considered myself antithetical to her personality, therefore she must have thought I was certainly out of her league. I, as incredibly introverted as I could be, avoided her because the anxiety of my crush was just too overwhelming. One day, however, I was staring at her out of blue, and she caught me. I was too stupefied to look away, so there was just a few seconds where we just looked at each other. Times were never the same. Our interactions cultivated to be as awkward as possible. I was losing faith in our relationship, since it felt like my crush wouldn't reciprocate my feelings. One day, we had to perform these physical tests for PE, and she had asked to be my partner. This is irrelevant, but it was the push-up test. After, my crush asked me out. It was so unbelievably surreal. Our entire PE class started whooping and cheering. It was one of the very first times I didn't mind being in such center of attention, because I was so euphoric. Lucky son of a bitch. I said, you a good woman. I am good man. Me Tarzan. You Jane. You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door. I had a small crush on this boy in my marching band. We began as friends with benefits first. He was also my very first sexual experience, but I had a thing for him and I didn't really think it'd ever form into a relationship. Just thought he was cute and funny. So why not have meaningless sex with him? We talked every day, and when we hooked up we'd talk for hours afterwards. After a couple of months of being FWB, I invited him over for drinks. I got very drunk, and told him how much my feelings had grown for him. Almost 3 years later we live happily together with 2 cats. A very unconventional start to our friendship, but it grew into a very loving relationship, and I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. I like you, let's date. I've not confessed. I'm even afraid to follow her on Instagram. I sung a song and we kissed. Then I woke up, remembering that I could never confess my love because I would only destroy a perfectly good friendship. I've has this love for the same person for 11 years. It has gone on past a crush at this point, I think. Unsuccessfully. He didn't know who I was, but during his graduation, I was a freshman, he was a senior, I ran up to him and gifted a crappy drawing I made of him and long-ass letter explaining my love for him. He looked confused AF. I even included contact details so he could contact me later. I never was contacted. Man, I still hate myself for that. I had been crushing on this girl for a while, a good friend of mine, although I was unsure of her feelings for me. Towards the end of the school year, I began receiving major hints from her other friends that she liked me, although I was still too nervous to do anything about it. A few weeks later, we had a 45-minute conversation after our youth group meeting, culminating in us confessing our feeling for each other.